Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter Live. I'm your host, Tom Franklin, and today we have on the wonderful, the amazing, the great, good friend of mine now, Mr. Tim Gayheart from Ohio Bigfoot Researchers is coming live on the podcast show to share some more of his incredible stories. If you keep finding yourself coming back to the Eye of Jupiter podcast, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Please go over to Rumble and like and subscribe over there. That way I know that you guys are over there checking out my stuff too. You can also download all my stuff on audio version wherever you get your podcasts, except for Apple Music at the moment. I will get there eventually, guys. I've been busier than a one-arm man in a what they call a wallpaper hanging contest. It's been crazy for me. Because I am now doing 2 lives a week for the present moment. I don't want to move any of the lives because I had people already lined up. I just want to move them to Fridays. So that being said, the show Friday that you normally get on Friday, the regular podcast, the one where you met Tim on, will now be moved to Tuesdays. So in the future, Tuesday shows, Friday lives, right before Magical Journey. I will be going on fits before and 15 minutes later, so you can get at least an hour to an hour and a half of live I have Jupiter right before Magical Journey. He's going to be moving 15 minutes later, so you can always just go right from there, right to his channel, and check out his content. So if you guys are interested in merch, I have some for you. If that will ever, there it goes. All right, you can see I have hats, shirts, posters, t-shirts, all the above. Go over and check out the link below if you'd like to get some of that. I would be gratefully appreciative if you guys go over and do as such. So I think I got everything out of the way. Oh, MK Davis is definitely coming on. I will let you guys know over on my Facebook page. Go over check out my Facebook page. He will definitely be coming on, and we will be discussing the Zapruder film. He agreed. It's all locked. I can't remember which date it is exactly, but I will. Let me do it real quick. Sorry, Tim. I just want to make sure everyone knows when that one's coming out because that's interesting. MK Davis will be on with me on the 29th of January, so Wednesday, just like today, at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m., and we will be breaking down the Zapruder film. I am super excited about that. I'm also super excited about the guests that I have on the show right now. Please welcome to the Eye of Jupiter Podcast Live, Mr. Tim Gayheart.
Hi, buddy. Hey, everybody out there.
Hey, how's it going, man? Get nice and cold up there in Ohio right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely cold. It's in the single digits and got probably 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. Yeah, it's definitely cold.
Oh, I haven't seen snow in 3 years. I haven't seen cold in a long time. It was hot today. I actually got a bit of a sunburn. I was on a roof putting in some solar panels for an American family from, I think she's originally from Illinois and he's originally from Alabama. And they're like scuba instructor masters or something. And they retired down here and they're like, we need some solar panels. And I was like, let's go. So it was hot today for me. And it's cold today for you guys, but it's also hot in here in the Eye of Jupiter podcast, man. Please do me a favor. If people do not know who you are by now, please let everybody know a little bit about yourself and where we can find you.
I'm Tim Gayheart, co-founder of the Ohio Bigfoot Researchers Group. We in northern Ohio, next to Lake Erie. Been doing research since 2021. I'm on Facebook as Tim Gayheart, and I'm on YouTube as Ohio Bigfoot Researchers, which I'm going to try to get my wife more involved in it and do some podcasts and tell her side of her research. And she's already been put in one book and her pictures on her last trip out, and she is scheduled next week to go on another trip out to investigate, which I cannot go do because
she's going to be also coming on my show. I've reached out to her. I will be to Renee next recording an episode with Renee next Tuesday. So that's going to be cool.
she has some interesting details and stuff of her encounters and things, and she's the one that should be out here telling it. And hopefully, Yuns show some love and appreciation to her when she comes on.
Oh, she will. We were talking backstage. We did a recording, I think in December sometime, Tim, or was it December? I think it was December, and that
Yeah.
was the biggest episode we've ever had on the channel. And it's I don't know what happened. We were talking backstage. We were like, I don't know. Tom was like, I don't know either, but they liked it, so we appreciate that, guys, that you enjoyed the show. You can go over and check out that episode. It's called it was like I don't remember the name of it, but it's got the picture of the 4 glowing dogmen, and Tim's there. Well, it's a skinnier, younger version of Tim holding a holding a pistol, and people just absolutely loved it. And then I asked you, I think even before the episode released, hey, would you like to come on a live? You said yes, and you were like, Tom, I got some more stories than that, buddy. Let's get into some things. So you're here now, dude. Let's go ahead and let's hear them. We're all ears.
Well, I want to first of all thank everybody for the support and getting the video up to almost 3,400 views. Hopefully, you like what information I put out, and I don't exaggerate on anything. If I tell you what I've seen, it's 100% real. And if I give you information about, like tonight, I was wanting to talk about the different kinds of Bigfoot. Now, I can't say that's 100% facts, but there is different types out there, and some of them are not really that great, very good to encounter. And there's type 1, which is like the Florida skunk ape. They're more the ape and
Okay.
baboon type looking. They're smaller built, and that is your type 1. Type 2 is like the Neanderthal men. They have the big ridge brow, somewhat cone-shaped head. They're a little more.
Thought you were describing me for a minute there, Tim.
Yeah, they're a little more bigger than the type 1. And then you have, which is type 3, which is considered more human, like human beings. And the Ohio Grassman falls in that category. Then they're
right. Let's get into that one. Yeah, that one. I didn't even know what the Ohio Grassman was. I was contacted by he was on the show. He's a paranormal researcher in New York. I think I'll look at his name. And he was like, ask him about the Ohio Grassman. I'm like, what's that? And then I asked him. He's like, he started writing. I was like, okay, save it for the show. Please, Tim, enlighten me or us. What is the Ohio Grassman?
The Ohio Grassman is the reason they give him the name the Grassman, because back in the early parts before Ohio was settled and communalized, it was the eastern part was still wooded and like it is now, but the old growth timber and all that before the logging and all that started when the Native Americans lived here. Then the more east you come and the more north you come west, it started turning into grass plains and swamps, and what it was brushy, but it was not as big as growth trees and stuff. And that's the reason they called them the Grassman, because they would find their structures in the grass. They'd make like grass huts to stay in, to sleep in and stuff. And
okay, we have a question from I'm sorry, Tim. I told you it was going to be like this, but we're going to go through because people want to know. I don't know you, but welcome to the show, Ladybug Sarah. She asked, I don't know what this either. What is she said, is Momo like the Grassman? Do you know what Momo is?
Momo is, I think it's from Asia, and Momo is
Okay.
smaller than the Grassman. The ones over in
Okay.
Asia, if I'm correct, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think Momo's over in Asia, and there are a smaller type and more what would you call not quite baboon, but they have some of the features of a baboon, but their face is somewhat like a Neanderthal person, but they're like 6 foot on the average for the large ones. And I think they have
Oh,
uh, 4 toes and 4 or 5. I think I've only seen a little bit about them. I don't know a whole lot about them because they're different species over in different countries. It's like the
they were
Yeti, the
saying Missouri Momo,
Euro.
Missouri Ladybug Sarah wrote Missouri. What's she write? Excuse me, I get it up here. Missouri Momo Bigfoot, totally covered in hair. Didn't see face. Well, Sarah, do me a favor. Contact me at the iJupiter podcast at gmail.com. Write me, and if you'd like to come on the show and talk about it because you're so knowledgeable, I would love to talk to you about it. I've never heard of the Momo Bigfoot. That's a new one for me, dude. That's a new one. Interesting. Always.
Wow. Yeah, that's new to me because I mean, I don't know every category of them, but I thought it was an Asian's
Oh
hat.
yeah.
Like I said, I didn't know. There's people
Okay.
have they have
The gentleman who brought up
different names.
the gentleman who brought up the sorry, I'm sorry, Tim. We'll get there, buddy. The gentleman who brought up who said to ask you, his name was Alfred Santariga, and he is the Bronxville Paranormal Society. I hope I got that right. Shout out to Alfred for bringing that up. Yeah, please continue. I'm so sorry. I finally remembered his name. There's about 400 names floating in this big head of mine, and I was able to recall it.
That's great. That's good. You remembered the person that asked you questions. And
Yeah,
well, the
it's a lot.
grass man is was the Plains of Ohio, which went into Indiana, Western Kentucky. It's called the Ohio Valley. That was mostly like the Serengeti in Africa. Is just the Great Plains, like the Great Plains out west. It was mostly grass and brush. It's how the natives give them the
Well,
name, the grass man. But there is, like I said, there's many types,
okay,
and
so that's what that
all
is. Okay.
there's many types, and they're all over the world. So every country, every Native Americans and Alaska, and they all have different names. There's the Yeti. There's the ones in Australia. I think they call them oh, what is it?
Then it's a new one. Yowie? I think it's called the Yowie.
Yowie, and then you have the ones in Asia. I don't know their name. But there's all different shapes and sizes. But here in North America, there is like the natives said there was 5 different kinds, and they had different names. They had names from like the bear people, the rock people, the Goway, the genus Squatch, and which the Goway is meaner and aggressive. They have more of the pooched out face with canines, and there is not as many as them because they're cannibal. They cannibalize
Oh, they're cannibalistic. Okay.
humans. Yep. and they cannibalize
Oh,
some of their own. And now the fifth ones is the Genosquash or something like that. It's pronounced. Now they are the most aggressive. They are. You don't walk away from one of them. The Goway, they pick and choose their prey. If they're going to prey on a
hmm
human, they're going to make sure that there's no other humans, or there's going to be a reprimand for it immediately. But the fifth type, they don't care. They eat their own. They eat the other Bigfoots. They eat humans. And they're just a pure killing machine. And that's the ones the native people had wars with, and so was the Gugway. But the other ones, they killed most of them out back in the earlier
okay.
parts. But there is still a few. Some of them are more likely up in Alaska, Upper Canada, where it's not as
I- Okay.
populated, and they snuck and survived.
Right. Okay.
It's
I was a
it's
bit of a
crazy.
lag, but no big deal, Tim. We're moving right through this. So so you introduced me to an area because I know, okay, for example, I know Eastern Kentucky, the Blue Ridge Mountain area. That place is very a hot spot. Of course, everyone knows about the infamous LBL, the land between the lakes, which is between Kentucky and Tennessee. But then you introduced me, and some of my audience maybe, to a place called Salt Fork State Park. What is it about Salt Fork State Park that makes it so active? What is it about that area?
That area, which is southeast of where I live right here, it is the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains and the Appalachian Trail. So they have a travel corridor for like 2,000 some miles. And like I said, Salt Fork is just in the foothills of it. And Salt Fork uh, has plenty of water, and deer population and stuff in Salt Fork is just ridiculous. In that there's 3 county area there. It's called the which Don King called it the Bigfoot Triangle. Them are the 3 highest counties in Ohio for deer population, and it's parts of it are mountain, well, not mountain, hills. Mountains are further west, the hills, and then you also part of the counties are farmland. But all 3 of them counties has many water sources. They have creeks, they have ponds, lakes, rivers, and a lot of natural springs, and it's a well environment for all kinds of different animals.
Right. So they have game, they have something to eat, and it's also secluded, and it's also you probably can't bring any like arms or weapons within the side the park anyway, I'd imagine.
Oh, at Salt Fork, well, most of your state parks and wildlife areas are in Ohio. You can take. They have hunting season. You can use firearms during hunting season in
Okay.
sectioned off areas away from uh the like the down at Salt Fork. You're away from like the golf course,
Right.
the
And the visitation
lodge.
areas and the
Yeah,
camping.
yeah. All that area is
Right.
closed to
Okay.
hunting, but yeah, there's sections that
So
in Salt Fork and all the state parks around here. Then you have one, two, three different wildlife areas in them 3 counties. and you have Ohio Power land, which is set aside that where they went in and logged and mined, and it's now with that you have access. You can hunt it during hunting season with in Ohio, but other than that, it's naturally it's all wild.
Wow, that's the amazing part about, like, people don't realize, like, you're on the eastern side of the Mississippi. They'll go, oh yeah, that's the most populated part of the states, which it is. It's, it's very, everyone knows that, but there's still so many wild areas, like just the Smoky Mountains. I think, like, even there's, I think, at least like 40 to 50%, maybe more. Someone can correct me if you'd like. Is unlike, people just don't go there on the regular. It's such a wild country we live in, with a slightly large population, but everyone is kind of conglomerated in these cities. So there's parts that are still wild that are being encroached upon, but at the same time, there's so much out there. Tim, do me a favor. You said you had some more stories for us. Everyone's all ears. Let's go into some of those, and let's listen and see what happens. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, because last time you blew me away with the 4 dogmen surrounding you with the lake to your back, and I was like, okay. And the handprint on the car, and I took pictures. You sent me the pictures. I put them up on the show. Let's go ahead and get into some of that, buddy.
Oh, all right. Well, it would have been, I think it was in April. No, it would have been in May in 21. We went down in April of 21. That's when I seen my first Bigfoot full body, which we ended up seeing 3 that day. Then we went down, I think it was in May. In May, we went to the camp, a group camp. They had another camp out. And this would have been, I'm pretty sure this is the second occurrence of seeing the Bigfoot down there. We had the meeting. It was on a Friday night, I think it was. And we was going to all go out and do investigations. And there was a bunch that said they was going to go up to the handicap area, which is they have restrooms. They have 2 picnic areas up there. They have charcoal grills up there. And we asked them, said, you don't care if we tag along with you, we'll drive our own. And they said, yeah, come on up. Because we all new to all this. We'd only been to 3 or 4 that following year. And they was different groups, so it was different people each time. There was a few that go to almost every one of them. I mean, we knew a couple people in each group. And so we all headed out and got up. Me and my wife, we got up to the handicap area and parked. Well, it's getting dark, and everybody left the camps and said they was the ones that was going to go up there, and nobody shows up. So we go out and sit by on the picnic table underneath the pavilion by the restrooms. And somebody just left that area right before we got there, because the charcoal in the grill that was there right at the end of the pavilion was still glowing red and hot. You could
Okay.
smell where they'd cooked hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff on it. And there was some grease where they put it out on the table while they was eating, and the grease sucked off out of the plate or whatever they had it on onto the table, and you could smell it really strong. So we was just sitting there watching. We was looking the opposite of the bathroom. There's a moat area, then there's a pavilion down on the point of the ridge. Was down in front of the pavilion where the restrooms are. Then if you look to your left, it goes out through that area and it's mowed, and there's a pavilion out there on the ridge, top of the ridge, that has a picnic table at it. And we was just sitting there at the picnic table. It was crossways, pointing, so we was sitting looking down toward the one below us, and just sitting there. And it was around 10 o'clock at night. Then all at once, crickets and stuff just went dead silent. And I'm like, ooh, that's weird. And I mean, like, we've only been out a few times before this. And I'm like, well, that's really weird. And we sat in there,
Right.
and there was a loud whoop over our left shoulder. She was sitting on the left, and it would have been over both our left shoulders, over down behind the restroom area down in the valley. I'm like, wow, man, that was a vocal. That was a whoop. And she said, yeah. I said, well, that's crazy. I said, we might get to see something or hear something else. And we're sitting there a few more minutes, and she goes, hey, babe, what? She goes, we got company. And I'm like, what do you mean we got company? She said, look over your left shoulder. So I turn and look over my left shoulder. Here's this big black silhouette standing right in the grass in the mowed area. It's not standing in the bushes. It's standing about 3 foot from the bushes, the wood line. It's standing there, and I had a small, cheap, rechargeable flashlight, which I don't carry no more. And I look and I point that flashlight at it down by its legs, and I'm looking at it, and this thing is black, and its legs are humongous. And I start working the flashlight up, and before I even got mid chest, she goes, "Don't shine it in its eyes." I'm like, "Oh, I'm not going to shine it in its eyes. I don't like light in my eyes. I ain't going to shine it in its eyes and make it mad." I said, "It's too close, and it's only like 65, 70 feet out there from us." And I get up about mid chest, and it's black, and this thing is huge. I mean, it's probably close to 12 foot, if not 12 foot or over tall. And I'm like, gee, this is a big, and we'd only seen just the ones down there the first trip down there, and then we just get glimpses of them here and there, sitting around looking around a tree at us at the other times. And this is standing right there, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is huge. And so I turned the light off. We're sitting there, and I know she's watching that way the whole time because this dude is
Yeah.
big. And I'm
I
watching
mean,
down toward
why
the other.
wouldn't you be? Yeah, and it's so cool. I failed to mention this. It's so cool because a lot of these, excuse me, these is incorrect word. A lot of Bigfoot researchers, it could be man, woman. They go out by themselves because it's just their passion. They want to know what's up. But it's just the coolest thing in the world that you and your wife share this passion to go out. And I just want to say, Renee, I think it's awesome that you and your husband get to do something together. And I just hope people find that no matter what it may be, but that you guys are going out, looking for these things. It's so fascinating to me. I love it.
Well, next month we'll be married on Valentine's Day. We'll be married 33 years, and
Wow.
we've always
Congratulations.
been
Oh, well,
around each
33.
other.
Ooh, ooh.
we we we've always been around each other ever since we got married. I mean, she goes on trips or stuff like that, and she goes where she does some things that we're not together, but
Yeah.
80% of the time we're together. And
Nice.
we've hunted together. I taught her how to shoot. I taught her how to fish, and now she outdoes me. Don't take her fishing because she'll beat your pants off, and you. I'm telling you, I don't care if you catch a 40-inch, a 30-inch, 32-inch channel cat. She'll come up with 133 or 34 inches
That's a lot of
before she
times.
quits.
You'll take a lady out there. We got our rigs. I like the bottom rig with a hook, two hooks, depending on which state you're in. And you throw your worm on, you got your catfish bait, whatever it is you're doing. And I don't know what it is about the women. They go out there and they always catch the biggest fish and then look at you as if you don't know nothing.
Yeah,
So
and when you just want it taught them,
yeah.
it's just something.
But it's still
But
cool
yeah,
though. You know, it's like you get to share that
yeah,
with, you know, your best friend, and they're kicking
yep,
your butt in the thing that you showed them how to do. That's great.
yeah, yeah. That's like when I was hunting and stuff, and I taught her how to shoot a rifle, how to shoot shotguns. I mean, we used to do uh, what you call pro, not professional, but we went to shooting matches and we competed against other people by shooting. And we done it in 22 rifle, and we done it in shotgun. And she was good with the shotgun. I mean, she won quite a bit of money at it doing it. And
Really?
then we got into the doing the 22 rifle stuff, doing you had to hit a little red dot at 50 yards. And the little dot was not even as big as the bullet on a 22 at 50 yards. And we did that for a little bit. Well, we didn't win at that too good. It's 22 or just a little bit finicky. I mean,
They're a
she'd
little
get into,
fickle, yes. I would have to.
I mean, she'd keep up with them, but we never won. And she was shooting just as good as
Yeah,
most of the guys that had the higher dollar setups. But yeah, but
right, right.
Bigfooting and
It
all that.
happens. It happens.
Yeah. But
Yeah. So,
getting
so
back to
okay, you're
the
there. She is. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tim. We took a little sidetrack there talking about our beloved ones, and that's always great. Uh, so she's looking at this thing because there's. I mean, what else you're going to look at? A tree in front of you, your truck, you know. Or your car, whatever. If she's looking at this thing now, let's continue on, dude. What happened?
well, I turned back. I looked around in front of us, down, make sure there was nothing else down toward the other pavilion and stuff. And I turned back around. It probably only been like 30 seconds. And I look and I'm like, is he getting closer? So I took the light and I shined it on him again, and I was judging the distance with the flashlight and him. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's getting closer. And she says, you think it's safe to still sit here? I said, well, he's not being aggressive yet. I said, I looked at him and said, okay, you're fine right there. And I know you're curious. We are curious what you are and and but we don't want to no trouble, and we ain't going to cause you no harm. So I turned the flashlight back off. Turn around. I'm looking the other
You
way a
said this
little while.
aloud.
Huh?
You said this out loud.
Yep. Oh yeah, I talked to
Okay,
him.
cool. It's cool to set the. Yes, I think that I trust me. If I were in your shoes, I would definitely set my intentions and let them, as well as everyone around there, and including other people who are with you, know the intention. I think that's very important because I think it's such an underestimated, or such a thing that people don't realize sometimes, is that if you go in with the wrong intentions, there you're not going to see them. But if you go in there like, hey, we're just here chilling, we want to know about you guys and your ways or whatever it is that you're doing, and we're just here and we don't mean you any harm, I think that is the right thing to do. I was just saying, because you can say it in here too, and I think that would work.
Yep.
That's a little part of
Yep.
the woo that some people get upset about.
Yeah,
But
but
I think saying it out loud may be a good way to go about it as well. Oh, even Harley talked to him. Harley Owens, guys. Harley Owens from Bigfoot Data Reports. Bigfoot Reports and Data. I always get that backwards. Reports and Data. Yeah. So you said we're not here to harm anybody. Yeah, man. Please.
so like I said, I turned in and I would look after I spoke to him and stuff. So I turned the light off. I turned away and I looked back down toward the other pavilion, and I'm watching all this wood line and all this open area down in front of us. And I know she's still watching it. And as long as she's keeping an eye on it, I get a chance to look around a little bit. And so I turned back around. Well, here he is. He's done gained, come about 10 to 15 foot closer again. I turned my light on. I hit him about mid chest, and I'm like, "Okay, now you're pushing the limits here. You're getting too close. You're making me nervous." And she said, "Well, you think we ought to go?" I'm like, "I don't know. He's pushing boundaries here." And so I turned the light back off. As soon as I turned the light back off, he's about 35, 40 feet from us at the furthest. And as soon as I turned the light off, he went, I'm like, yeah, it's time to go. He's wanting to come check out this food that he smells that where they cooked here, and he's had about enough of us sitting here. And so we got up and we left.
Okay.
But it was a guttural
Okay.
growl, and I
Wow.
mean,
Yes.
he.
We had a question. Sorry, Tim. We had a question. What would you categorize this one as being? I think it was from Magical Journey. What would you categorize this particular 12-foot one that you've seen with your wife on that particular day? What would you categorize it as in your category system, or the category system, better said?
I would say it was a grass man because the shape, it didn't have a real conical head. It was rounded with just a little bit of a crest, about like my hat here's got this little crest, but it wasn't pronounced conical head. And the size of his
Okay.
legs and arms and stuff, and shoulders and stuff, he was humongous. He was probably at least 1,000 pounds, at least 1,000 pounds. He was big. His
Whoa.
uh, his
Whoa.
leg, his legs was almost as big as round as my waist. So, and his arms right here on his forearms and his upper arms, his his upper arms was way bigger than his forearms, but his forearm area through here was almost as round as my thigh, and that's probably a good 22, 23 inches. Now, when I was
His
younger, I had
forearm.
like 17-inch biceps, but now they're about 14. And I mean, his biceps was like this, and his arms was probably every bit of from the shoulder to the tip of his fingers. They was probably at least almost 4 foot, and he was probably,
Okay, so this was a really big one.
oh, he was a big dude. I'd have hit him just about a half a foot above his mid belly, and I'm 6'2",
Oh my
almost
lord.
6'3". I'd have come about just about a little bit above mid belly on him because we went back. What was it? Last was it 2023? We went back down there, and I'm like, I need a size comparison to see how big this dude is. I keep telling people he's between 11 and 12 foot. So I had her stay where we was sitting at on the concrete right in front of the grill. And I walked out to where he was at where we last seen him standing before we left. And now I got a walking cane, a walking stick, and it's probably like 52 inches tall. It comes above my waist
Okay.
when I walk with it. It's not as short as a cane, and it's not as high as a hiking stick. It's about 50 inches or so. And I held that by the bottom, about the last 6 inches at the bottom where my hand would hold before the rubber grip on the bottom. And I held my arm up full extended like this, and that almost 4 foot cane above my head. And I said, "Is that too tall, or is that about the height it was?" She said, "You're within a few inches exactly what it was."
Right. And a person who could shoot that well
So
would be able to tell you.
yeah, yeah. And
Have you ever been hit by infrasound? We got an interesting. We have an interesting. Harley wrote something about infrasound. Have you ever experienced that phenomenon that people like to refer to as infrasound? Or I think Daryl Benton calls it being zapped. Have you ever experienced that yourself?
yeah, I've been sick one. I got sick one time from I don't know what it was. I was feeling perfect. It was in May of 23. No, April of 23. We went down to a camp out at Salt Fork, and we ended up going up to a place called Devil's Knob. We went there during the day, checked it out. There used to be an old schoolhouse there in the late 1700s, early 1800s, when it was still horse and buggy, drawn, all that. It was a one-room school there, and the kids and the teacher and all them kept seeing things looking in the windows during the day when they was at school, and they was red hair, and they called them the red-haired devils. Well, we went up and checked it out during the day. There is an old white pine that the teacher back then that tied her horse to. This tree is over 100 years old. It's still there, but it's starting to hollow out in it now. Eastern white pine, and it's right there. You make a circle around it in the parking area on Devil's Knob.
Okay.
We went up there and checked it out during the day. That night, we went back up there to do an investigation. Well, we get up there, and there's like, I think 12 or 14 of us that went up there, and we had audio equipment and all that stuff. We was there for about 15 minutes, and people started breaking up and going in up the trails and stuff they had there, and up the gravel road away from the parking area. Well, me and a couple others that didn't want to leave the parking area because I can't do hiking, and my legs don't work enough to do uneven ground very much. And we're standing around talking, trying to be as quiet as possible, watching, listening. And I started getting a slight headache. And I'm like, well, this is getting
Wow.
weird. And I hardly ever get a headache. I mean, maybe once in every 4 or 5 years, I might get a headache. But I started getting a
Wish I
headache.
was you,
And
Tim.
I'm like, huh?
So I wish I was you. I
And
get headaches
mm,
maybe once a month.
yeah. Well, my wife gets them.
Okay.
She gets migraines. She has to take medicine for
Oh, poor lady.
migraines.
Oh,
But
I support and love to you,
me,
Renee.
I don't hardly ever. I'm usually, if I get a headache or something, I'm going to get sick in 2 or 3 days. But standing there and I'm starting to get a headache. Then we're there about 15 minutes, and the guy's got all his audio equipment out, and we start hearing this weird noise, like a something beating on a big metal barrel or a drum, and it just boom, 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 and it's just this started about 15 minutes after we was been there, and everybody starts coming back in. The one guy said he was a military vet. He was up the road by himself, which shouldn't do. And he comes back and he starts telling, well, man, it's creepy here. It's creepy as all get out. He said, something just scared the living daylights out of me up there. He was standing in the dark in the middle of the gravel road. And he said he heard footsteps running at him down the gravel road to
Ooh.
his back. And he turns around, turns the light on. There's absolutely nothing. There's nothing on the road. And it just creeped me out. And he's telling it. Then we're standing there still talking and stuff. And this thing is whatever's making this noise is everybody's starting to hear it. everybody there. You could hear it with your ears. You didn't have to have no hearing equipment on at all. It was just that thud, thud, thud.
My God.
And we stand there talking, and he says, I'm starting to get really sick now. My head's busted. I'm starting to get nauseous. I'm starting to get dizzy. And he said, you feeling all right? And I'm like, no, not really. I ain't feeling good. I said, this ain't a good place. I said, there's something here that does not want us here. And he's standing there, and then my wife and a couple others come over. Hey, you feeling okay? And I'm like, no, this I got a headache. I'm getting very nauseous, and I'm getting really dizzy. And so they talked me into going and sat down in the car. So I went over, sat down in the car, and one of the women there, she was a nurse. She brought me 2 Tylenol and gave me 2 Tylenol.
Okay.
I took
That's
them,
fortuitous.
and next thing, one of the guys there, he starts getting the same way. Then another guy there started getting the same way, and he's got a broke leg, and he's on one of them little scooters you use to put your leg on. So there was 3 of us getting sick. Well, the person of the head of the group, I've showed him our pictures. He's been out researching with us. I've showed him the Bigfoot when they come in when we was out researching. And he believes when I tell him something, he knows I'm not going to exaggerate about nothing. And
Okay.
Renee went over and told him today, Tim's getting sick. And then one of the other guys went over and said, man, it's not good here. I'm feeling sick. And then the third guy went over and told him. Then he goes, Renee, go ask Tim how's he feeling. See if it's getting worse or what. I mean, if it's getting worse bad on him or what he thinks. She come over and asked me how I was doing and stuff. And I'm like, it's not a good place here. I said, I'm getting sick, bad sick. She went and told him, he said, hey, everybody pack up, let's go. He said, and he
Wow.
told the guy with the audio equipment, he said, get your stuff in the vehicle. We're leaving. He said, Tim says it's not a good place to be here right now. And he says, I believe every word he says. We're getting out of here. So everybody rounds up and gets in the vehicles. We're going down the road. I get 700-800 feet from that place. It starts letting up. And I'm like, well,
Wow.
that's weird. This is weird now. And then time we got back out to the gravel road, to the blacktop, the main road in the park, which was probably about 2.5 miles. My headache went totally away. I wasn't dizzy, wasn't nauseous. I'm like, that place was bad.
What do you think it was? I mean, what would make that? Do you think it was some type of paranormal aspect, or do you think it was an actual Sasquatch doing that, or what do you think it was, Tim?
It only affected the males, 3 males, and
That's interesting.
I think there was like 5 or 6 females there with us. There was like 12 or 13 of us there, and it only affected
6, so
3 of the
that's half.
males. And I think it was. I don't know if any of the women were on their cycle or just come off their cycle or what it was. I don't know. I can't say if it was a Bigfoot doing it or what, but the way I felt about it, it was like there was male Bigfoot there, younger male Bigfoot in the breeding age, and they was trying to run us males off and hoping that the females would stay. But
That's what I
I
was thinking.
can't say it's 100% what it is because I'm
It's
not
hard
one
to
of them.
guess.
And
It's speculation, of course, but it makes sense. It
yeah,
makes sense. Like they wanted you to leave, but interesting how it would somehow affect the Y chromosome or the males and not the females. That maybe there's some type of I don't know where you are, maybe some type of evolutionary thing or some type of power, because there's so many things about these creatures, these men, these wild men, these Bigfoot, that we simply just don't know. It's a lot of shots in the dark, but more people like you, as well as Harley and Daryl and all the people that I know that go out and do what you do, keep bringing back a little bit more pieces of the puzzle. And I've never heard that before. That is such an interesting thing. So approximately half of the group that was there were men, or male to female ratio is 50-50. Right. And half of those got sick as well. That's interesting.
Yeah. 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 Let me see. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they was 5, if not 6. Let's see. 1, 2. They was 6 males up there. And I got to think how many females. I know there was 12 or 13 of us up there. Let's see. My wife. There was 6, 7 females.
Wow. So even more. Yeah. So even more.
There was 13 people.
That is.
And there was.
So have you?
Yeah, all please. But one lady was in their 40s and younger.
Okay, so that's why you would come up with that concept. That's that idea. That's extremely interesting that they would pick up on something and then try to force you guys away, and by making you sick, and they thought, well, the ladies would stay. That is something that if you guys have heard stories like that, please bring them my way. I would love to delve deeper into that, because that is such an, I've never heard that before, where it seems to be too. I've heard of female. Excuse me. I've heard of women being zapped before. There's a lady I was talking to. I think she's in Idaho or Montana. This is about a year ago, and she was saying that she got zapped, or that thing that happens. But mostly it's males, but also mostly I talk to male researchers. But to get that balance and then having to affect the male is it's more than a delve into a little bit more. So if you guys know anybody, or let's go ahead and get that out there, because that's something that I don't think that I've heard yet. So Tim, thank you for bringing that up, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. But my wife's been Renee's been zapped a couple times, but it wasn't from Bigfoot. Nope. Well, the first time she got zapped.
I don't know if that's something you want to tell or something.
I'm going to.
Is that something that maybe she wants to tell? Okay, remember, guys, I'm going to have Renee on. I'm going to have Renee on, and she's going to go into some stories. It's going to be probably dropping sometime next month. Next month it'll drop. But yes, we'll have Renee, who's going to be on the regular show. Regular show, and then if we normally have a report with everybody, then she'll be on the live too. I'll have Renee on here. All right. So that happened. So what do you think it is? Do you think that they're emitting this, or that they're somehow connected with the environment, that it's their intention to do that? What is your deal on
that? Well, I know they can affect their environment around them, because when they come into the area, if it's spring, summer, whatever, and most of the time when they come into the area where you're at, all insects quit making noises. Tree frogs quit making noises, especially at night. You won't hear none of them peepers, frogs making any noise when they come into the area. You won't hear crickets. You won't hear any night insect. You won't hear it. I mean, it'll go most of the time. It just goes totally silent. You might get
Right.
a dog, house dog, or something off in the distance bark or something like that, or away from you. But the insect in the area that they come into around you, nope. I don't know if it's some kind of vibration they
Yeah,
put
even
off
Harley,
or if,
they call it the, some people are calling it the silence, and even Harley said it's dead quiet. You can hear a pin drop. He's had many encounters as well. Uh, uh, you've had dogman encounters. You told one on the last episode. I think two of them actually, and those are even those must be even scarier for you because you told me that you're I'm not afraid, Tom. I'm like, okay, you're a better man than I am, but does there anything that happens like that around Dogman? Is there any type of like? Does it also get quiet? Is there also like a some type of are people getting zapped or people getting this infrasound? Have you heard anything like that?
yep. Yeah, I've heard it from other people that's been around Dogman that, yeah, it gets deathly quiet. I mean, and they've got sick feeling Martin Groves and stuff. And his research group, when they seen the one in the ditch,
Yes,
made the guy
Martin
in
Groves.
the truck deathly sick. Yeah, Martin Groves and Daryl Denton. And the my it affects my wife, but I won't go into details about that. But yeah,
No, no,
it
no, no.
affects
It's her
her too.
story to tell. We can't do that now. We can't have that. We can't.
Yeah.
I can't. We can't be stepping on Renee's toes here. We can't be doing that now. Thank you, Pam.
Now
Appreciate that.
when she
The live
when she
the what do they call that? Super chats are open, guys. If you guys want to go ahead and do what Pam is doing, and so I can upgrade my computer. It is 10 years old, and hopefully things work out. And I will be getting, as you can see, the computer. As you can see, Tim, I got a new camera. You can see me better. I don't know if that's
yep,
good or
yep,
bad.
it's
and
good. It's good.
and I also got a decent microphone now. Thank you, and
Yep.
just everything I get goes back into the podcast, and so we can talk to people like yourself. And yeah, so Dogman. So what are your thoughts on Dogman?
Well, they're not good. They're they're just like a wild wolf.
Thank you, Fisher.
They're going to attack what they think is what is prey, and not too many. I mean, this a lot of things that's been covered up. There's been a few attacks that they said was they said they was wild dogs, but because the dog man and dogs are canine, they have the same kind of DNA, same kind of hair, and they
Okay,
found hair samples and stuff. A couple of these, and they said it was a canine attack, and the
I've heard
witnesses
of the
there
story.
that to yeah, the South Carolina, I think
I've
it
heard
was
of the story. I think it was Bettina Moss. I spoke to her like a year ago as well. I was trying to get her back on, and she hasn't responded yet. But Bettina, hit me up. She was telling a story about where a woman, I don't remember where it was, got attacked, and they were also claiming that it was a pack of wild dogs, but
yep,
something like some ridiculous number, like 40% of her body was not there, and there
yep,
was there was a bite mark or a claw mark that basically went around the entire torso, like from front to back, all the way around, like on the side, like 50% of the body was
hmm
bitten. And this was, you can look this up. Supposedly, I don't know where it was. You guys have to go back and find it. It's one of the first episodes that are on the show. It's something like it's on an autopsy report, and
yep.
it's see you later. See you later. Go take care of our buddy, man. Best wishes to Robert. He apparently had a heart attack. Robert Effler, I think you're talking about. If Robert Effler, our thoughts and prayers go out to you, my friend. Um,
Yes.
yeah, and yes, Mr. Robert Effler, the great Robert Effler, wonderful man. He, yeah, it's just they're covering this up because I think the amount of revenue they get from people joining these parks. We also have the 411. That's a whole nother subject. where people
Yeah.
disappear, of course. It's being suppressed because they don't want people to panic, but at the same time, all they do is on the news is make you fearful and all that. So I don't see why this would change anything. So I think, and maybe it's somewhere along the line of maybe a government conspiracy, possibly like where they're creating partially some of these things or they're mixing them. I don't know what they're doing, but at the same time, it's also some type of revenue, especially when it comes to Bigfoot. I mean, this isn't news, guys. Bigfoot's been around, since you as Tim said, since the antiquity, as long as we possibly have, or even longer. Some people have their own thoughts. Are they Nephilim? Are they this? Are they that? But there's a suppression going on in this information, and especially with these dogman attacks, and it's just more than bothersome is the best way to put it, I guess.
Yeah, it's to keep it on the down low because they don't want nobody. They don't want to be responsible for it getting out, and they don't want to be responsible to have to take care of if it's told that this was what attacked these people, and it was
Right.
on government land, state land. Somebody has to pay for
Litigation.
it.
Litigation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
No one wants that.
So,
Yeah, it's so crazy that someone can be mauled by a creature that's not supposed to exist, and at the same time, people are worried about litigation when it comes to people's lives. It's kind of sickening, and at the same time, I don't know what to think about it. I'm also looking for those stories too, guys. If you know anything about a story like that, like Bettina Moss or something like that, I would love to have you on to come and talk to me about this. I want to get that out there and try to maybe like get some of these unsolved mysteries to actually be a little bit less unsolved. Yeah, that's an old reference. We're up there in age, Tim. But
yeah,
it's just horrific. It's horrific.
yeah. It is. It's a shame that you can't be truthful in a country it's supposed to be free, and you're denied access to knowledge of what they know that
Yeah.
exist around us, that's out here in
Yeah,
these parks and these national forests and stuff. They know there's agencies in the government. They know they've
they
had
do
to
know.
deal with this for years and years and years. When one or two of these creatures get out of hand, they have to deal with that situation in that area. So they bring in teams and they deal with it. They take them out, then they hide it all. They ain't no
Yes.
way that they're ever going to tell me that they don't come into areas where they have this stuff going on if they don't take out these creatures that are causing trouble so they can hide it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really bothersome because we know, okay, because how is it that I haven't had any firsthand accounts, but I believe you, and I've talked to many people and they're telling the truth, dude. I'm sorry. How's it that Mr. Tim Gayheart, a simple man, don't take it personal, who lives in Ohio, has had these encounters, but yet the US government, the most powerful government to ever exist in the world, doesn't. They know, guys. They know. And we know that they know.
There's agencies that know a lot more. I can tell you some stuff that people was calling conspiracy theories in the 80s, and
Mm-hmm.
even today. I can tell you for a fact this man drove for the government. He was my friend. He was a truck driver. He drove for the United States government. And
Yep.
things he's seen and told me that he's seen, I believed every word of it. He's been inside the labs
Those,
where they've done their experiments underground, out
yeah.
west, and other places in the United States.
We
And
can talk
I
about
know they're
Project Montauk
fact.
itself, the Super Soldier program. Michael Cameron and Mr. Sapnick, Mark Sapnick, is going to be coming on. He's part of the Super Soldier program, and these people are in Europe. You mean to tell me they don't have that here? Come on, guys. Come on. There's so
Yeah,
much that they're hiding from us.
yeah,
Tales told in the dark. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
yeah.
Tales told from the dark. How is it going? Welcome to the show.
Well, yeah. knowledge is power, and they don't want people to have power.
Nope. That's why all those big media companies are going bye-byes, and shows like mine and many others out there are stepping up, filling in the void. It just happens to be my particular niche. It's not only Bigfoot. I mean, I got a show coming up where a guy smoked some Salvia divinorum, accidentally got too much of it, and lived a parallel life for 8 years in Texas, and thought that his family didn't exist anymore. Then, as he's walking with a bucket of chicken across the field, going to his now friends that he apparently knew his whole life, and they knew him. He's got pictures in his apartment in Tyler, Texas. That's where it was. He was in Alaska. The ground opened up again, and he's back in Alaska in elapsed time 45 seconds.
Man,
Dad, dude, yeah, dude. This is the stuff that I enjoy. I enjoy all the people don't understand the power that resides in psychedelics. That it is very scary, and things like that. This is not the first time I've heard stories like that. But to speak with people like you who are first account experiencers, to speak with this gentleman, to speak with many other people that I've had on the show in the last year. February 15th is the 1 year mark. On the 14th, I'm planning on having a show, and we'll see how that goes. That's also going to be a Friday. But Tim, we're definitely going to do this again, dude. You and I, you've helped me. This show also, this live has got the biggest numbers I've ever gotten before, or we've ever gotten before. Me and my team, my crew, my friends, the former Forbidden guys, my peoples, magical journey. Go ahead and talk to Tim. Fisher of Spams the Night Watch, my wonderful, the best moderator in the business, Pam. Always an incredible lady, incredible person. We hit 28 at one point tonight. The biggest I've ever gotten is like maybe 18, and we hit 28 on a Wednesday, dude. So it's not me, dude. It's you. You are bringing something to the table that people want to hear, my friend. And I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, as well as the rest of the eye, that we appreciate so very much that you came on and spent some time with us today.
Well, thank you for having me on and stuff. Hey, I'm just trying to make people realize if the government tells you A is A and B is B, you better look and see if A ain't B and B ain't C, because they're good with the alphabet. That's the reason they got so many different alphabetical agencies. Oh, they pick up the rug and move stuff under it. Right in front of your face.
Yeah, they're very good at it. They tell you it's raining, make sure they're not peeing on your shoe. That's what I always say. They say it's raining, look down and make sure they're not peeing on your shoe. And it's pretty crazy, but I think we're going to be, these next couple of years are going to be very interesting. Let's see what happens. I'm not trying to be political whatsoever. It's just an interesting time that we're living in, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. I'm here for it. We got the front row seat to whatever is going on. Pam says, much love, Tim. We loved having you on. Buddy. We're going to have you on again, Tim. And thank you so much, buddy.
Hey, no problem, buddy. Anytime. Just give me a holler.
Yeah, we'll definitely do. We'll stay in touch for sure, man. All right, man. Yeah. And tell Renee when you see her. I'm looking forward to seeing her. I think it's next Tuesday I'll be having on her. We're going to do a pre-recording.
I think it's Friday, the 17th.
I'll take a double look here. Yeah. It is Renee Gayheart, Tim's wife, 6 p.m. on the 21st of January. That's what I have. I hope I got that right. Friday, I will be on with Mark Savnik. So this Friday, guys, I'll be on with Mark Savnik, the super soldier, friend of mine. He's been on 2 episodes, and we're gonna get deeper into some of his stuff, guys. So tell Renee that if it's not the 21st, she's got it wrong on the calendar. We can always reschedule, or maybe she can move some stuff, or I can even move my time as well. Not a big deal. Okay.
because I know I think it's next, it's 20 something when she's going to Arkansas. So
Okay.
I think she
Okay.
thought
Maybe
the
there's a
show with you was,
miscommunication.
I thought she thought the show with you was Friday the 17th.
Mhm. I'll look back at it. I'll get in contact with her. In the worst case, I'll get in contact with you, and you guys can discuss it, and we'll figure it out. It's not a big deal, man. No matter
Yep,
either way, she's coming, guys. We're gonna have Renee on either way.
All right. I
All right,
just wanted to
all right, buddy.
not make
Yeah,
sure you didn't get
yeah,
together and get
we're
it
gonna
right.
talk about the schedules live on the air, so you guys get to see a little bit of fourth wall being taken down by Tim and I today. No big deal, buddy. It's all good, man.
Yep.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much for coming on, dude, and we'll keep in contact. Okay.
Thank you for having me on, and everybody out there. Hey, keep your eyes open and ears open, and let it come in here.
Awesome, Tim. Love you, buddy. Take it easy. So, all right, hold on now. What? Yep, there. Man, it's a little slow today. So that was the wonderful, amazing Tim Gayheart. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys, maybe you guys can tell me a little bit about that the infrasound that only affected the males. That was a surprise to me. I hope you guys. I think that might have been a surprise to you. I haven't heard it yet. Maybe somebody out there knows it. I'm sure James will probably know something like that. James Hood, the wonderful James Hood, is still here, guys. I love James. James is a great guy. We're going to be doing some more shows in the future too. He's just a lot of fun to talk to. Like I said, this Friday I will be coming on live at 5:45 with Mark Savnik. He's going to be contacting us and talking to us all the way from Slovenia in Europe, a little country where Luka Doncic is, and we're going to get into some things. We talked about the things that happened in New Jersey that are probably still happening that no one's talking about anymore. And then next Wednesday, the next live on Wednesday, I will be talking to Neil Ballas. And remember, also on Friday, right after my episode live, you will be able to see the wonderful magical journey with Daniel Cahoon, and he's going to get into some stuff as well. So on this Friday coming up, once you're done listening to what I talk about, me and my guests, go over and check out Magical Show. Great guy, great host, great podcast. Thank you all once again. Happy New Year to all those. I forgot to say Happy New Year's too. Welcome everybody new that's come to the show. I appreciate you guys being here today. Go ahead and add a like and subscribe. Go ahead and comment on the episode. Share it. Get this information out there because I just heard something new, and hopefully you guys heard something new today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you all so very much. Remember, we are the eye, and we are aware. Love you all.